I am Lisa Garr, and welcome to the Aware Show presents Rising Stars. That is you, amazing people in the world that have been working so hard and so diligently doing the things that you love and helping so many people. I just want the world to know about you. And that's kind of how I started the Aware Show. I had a head injury and I was being helped by so many brilliant people that really helped me put my head back together again. I wanted the world to know about them. So that is why I've created Rising Stars. And today, oh my goodness, just sit back because Dr. Helena Soomer Lincoln is an absolute pioneer. So, first of all, did you know that 41 million people in the US do not have teeth? Or of that 41 million, about 90% wear dentures, and then the rest do a very, very invasive reconstructive surgery. And there's actually another way to do this. There's another way to smile with confidence because that's what it's really about, is to have your inner light glow, right? And this was the goal of visionary dentist answering a calling, Dr. Helena Soomer Lincoln. She grew up in Estonia with an experience that was very unusual. It ignited her mission to stand up for what she believed in, something called the singing revolution in Estonia, she's going to tell us about. But it's really a story about believing in something special and really trusting it until it becomes truth. And this is a bit of her motto in life, believing in something and trusting it until it becomes truth, which brings it into being. And that's such a pure example of how to live life. And Helena has done so much in her life. She created and patented True Bridge Dental. And this is a revolution to replace the dentures with a digitally designed, manufactured dentition. I think it's called dentition only bridge. She's going to tell us more. She's U.S. patents pending, and this is an amazing procedure. So welcome, Dr. Helena Soomer Lincoln. It's such a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let me just start about your childhood. I mean, you had such an incredible childhood growing up in Estonia. Tell me about this singing revolution and how you found yourself at the foot of Russian tanks.
Yes. Yeah, so I grew up in Estonia, and at the time, Estonia was occupied by Soviet Union. It was part of the Soviet Union Republic. And I was lucky because my father actually told me, Helena, don't believe that. That's not really how it's supposed to be. And that's not how it's going to be. So instead, believe that we will be free and we will be independent. You'll see. And so I was like, okay, I believe you. And so I always knew that that was just temporary, that that would not last. And so then in 1991, our prime minister called over the radio and said, Estonian people, come to the Parliament Square. And I was like, oh, it's happening. And so I put on my boots and I went to the Parliament Square and I ended up really up front. There were Russian tanks pointing at us just like that. And we were singing and we held hands and we were singing and singing and we were singing beautiful songs, love songs, independence songs, nothing bad. We weren't being intimidated or anything. And so what happened was that even though I knew it from my father that that was going to happen, so I had the belief already. But as I was standing there, I wasn't afraid anymore. Like the fear went down and the faith went up, and we were just singing and singing and singing and singing. And the Russian tanks, they just turned away and they went like off, and we were free. And we had our flag put up, and
We
Estonia
need
became
that.
independent that day.
I'm so glad you told us that story because we need that type of sense of community today, that we're singing and united in a love song and passionately, fervorously singing this love song in the name of what we believe. We have so much of a need for that today. And I encourage anyone to look up the singing revolution because it's quite the story. And that you had been raised by your father that taught you to believe something into being, into truth, is an incredible way of thinking amidst a very controlled environment. That was not the evidence at all. And so I think this is what has made you become such a pioneer in so many things because you don't stop. You don't take no for an answer. You continue to go forward. So then, how did you get into what we now know of you as a dentist?
Yeah, so at the time, I did Estonian dental school and I really liked it. My father, in fact, encouraged me to go because I always have been good with my hands. I like sculpturing and doing things. And so I did that, but oh, and after dental school, I did my PhD studies because I'm always curious. I like research. I like to find out things. And at the time, I was in Helsinki, Finland, and I met my husband there. And so that's how he's from the US. And so I moved to the US. And then I had to start all over again, pretty much. I had to do the United States pathway to dental school, which I did.
Well, let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that. You applied for dental school at the University of Michigan,
Michigan.
and
Yes, yeah, I'm proudly wearing the Michigan
she's
coat.
proudly wearing
So
the Michigan dental um, doctor's coat, which I think is fantastic. So, what do you tell us a little bit about that process and how you applied?
So it was very, very competitive. There were 13,000 applicants when I was applying, and there were only 7 seats. But then I literally, just like with the Estonian singing revolution, I decided when I visited Michigan campus, I so fell in love. It's a world-class, beautiful campus. It's the #1 dental school in the United States. And they have research, they have like all the postgraduate programs, everything. They have the highest the National Institute of Health like sponsorship and funding and all that. And so I was like, yes, this is where I want to be. And so I decided at the time that this is where I will go. And when I was doing my interview, I was so happy and I was so grateful, like as if I'm already there. And I interviewed as if I was there. And I said that, yes, like I love everything about it. It is so amazing. I'm so grateful. And I got one of the 7. So I was
Oh my!
in even
So
though I already, had 2 children. So I wasn't like a typical dental student who is 22, 25 years old. I was older than that, but that doesn't really matter.
that's, I mean, still to do that, especially as a mother of two at the time, is incredible.
Mm.
I mean, I was going to ask you what you think set you apart, and you kind of answered it. And you've been answering this the whole time with these 3 words: curiosity, which you're eager to learn and you always love to learn. You said, I decided. That you made a decision. I decided is such an important set of words because once you align yourself, once you make that decision, I decided is very important. And then you said um, that I was already there in my mind. I was already there. So curiosity, I decided, and I'm already there. And this is a bit of a formula that I found for you because you're so clear and you've done so much. I mean, we're not even going to go to the fact that she was a world-class bodybuilding champion. When did you have time to do that? Oh my goodness. So, all right, so let's talk about dental school and being a mom. And you came to the US, and how many
Mhm.
years were you there at University of Michigan?
I did the international dentist program, which is basically a summer program. And then you join in with the US students third year, and you do the clinics third year, fourth year. And then after that, I also did the hospital residency, which I'm really grateful I did. So, and when I was third year dental student, I was expecting my third baby
Oh
at
my
the
God.
time. Yes. So, it was so fast. I only had 3 days. We were not allowed to take any time off or anything because our program was so intense and
Right.
so tensely packed to get through everything. And so I didn't take off any time. So I had 3 days. I had the baby on the first day, 2 more days, and then my husband would bring the baby. I would feed the baby at lunchtime, would take the baby back. And so I would hold the baby at night, and and I just went one day at a time. I wasn't thinking further or back or anything. I was present right now with my baby and all my studies and my patients, and I just did everything I had to do that day, and I didn't think of anything else. I was just one day. That's my day. That's right now. That's how I got through it.
With dental school and hospital rounds and
Mm.
breastfeeding and being a mom, you took it. I find I function better with that type of schedule. I don't know about you, but it I'm not good with too much time on my hands. I'm actually terrible like that. And I find that when you're living on fire on purpose, and you can do this for concentrated times in your life, not always, but those on fire on purpose times, again, you broke down a beautiful formula there about being present, doing one thing at a time, one day at a time. And now you have 5 beautiful children.
Yes. 5 years. So we had 2 more after that. And I'm very happy for that and very grateful. So they are all nice 5 healthy children. So
And one actually works in your practice with you,
yeah,
right?
she's here in front desk. Uh-huh.
So great. How old is she?
She's 20.
20. Wow, that's fantastic. So she has a really good role model. So tell us a little bit about the dental practice that you have now. I noticed that there's a fairy in the background there. Tell me about
Yes. So I my practice is called Fairy Tale Dental, and it's called that because I tell fairy tales. I tell stories instead of putting people to sleep or doing sedation. And that was also something I learned during my residency at University of Michigan Hospital. We had a lot of patients who were not really being not able to cooperate or have their treatment done in a normal way. And so they were always scheduled to go under general anesthesia. But I discovered that if I really treat them so gently, like I would treat my little baby, and I would tell them story, they would relax and they would let me do what I needed to do. And so I was like, fairy tales are good. And also, I think what I like about fairy tales is that how it always ends well. Like no matter what happens in the middle, there's always like you can rest assured that it will be okay, no matter what happens in the middle of the turmoil or something in the story. And so I think I really like that. And I also, with my 5 children, that's the one thing that ties us all together. Every night, even if we had a hard day or whatever, I end it with a storytelling, and I tell the story from my heart, and then children are very happy and relaxed and can go to sleep. So it's just something that ties us together, and I really love.
Now, I
So
mean, that's interesting because it's definitely, people are apprehensive and going to the dentist, and I'm sure that a lot of appointments get canceled, and it must be hard to run a dentist practice with people chickening out at the last minute. Understandable. I mean, you really can't do much when and your teeth are in so much pain, but how do you focus and tell a fairy tale at the same time?
oh, I have so many fairy tales that my just from every country. I have Estonian fairy tales, I have Russian fairy tales, I have Irish, I have Scottish, I have French, every kind of fairy tale. So I can tailor it to the person. First, I talk to them and I want to get to know them, and I see what they like, and I see what kind of story I could pull out, and tell them, hey, do you know this story? And I would tell them, and they have something in common with the story. It's just from my large story library. I think I can I don't always tell the same story. I tell different
No, that's
stories.
fantastic. And where are you located, by the way? Where is the dental practice?
Bainbridge Island, Washington. It's just a little island off of Seattle, Washington.
I'm sure people travel far to come there. It's-
Yeah.
yeah. So especially so let's talk a little bit about what I mentioned earlier in the show about 41 million people have no teeth in the US. So why do you think so many people are unaware of dental solutions?
Yeah, so I have studied, and really it has been my very deep interest. That is what I learned in during the residency. I really wanted to learn all I could about reconstructive work, how to put, there were people who had car accidents or cancer, or just sometimes just neglect, not being able to go to the dentist, or any kind of a reason, mostly
Any kind of
non-avoidable
accident. Yeah.
accidents and traumas and things. And so I was very interested in that. And then I got to see that you don't have a lot of options. You can have dentures, right? It covers the palate. It's sort of a like big piece like that.
Mhm.
And then other times you can have really invasive surgery where a lot of the bone has been removed and then a big prosthetic is screwed in its place. But I was just curious, is there anything better than that? Or can we do something differently, more gently, more non-invasively? So that has been my
Let me
just like
ask you.
my calling.
That's your calling. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful thing that you just said about a calling. I'm taking notes on you because you have such great wisdom. So let me just ask you a little bit more about the procedure. So if people want to have this dental reconstructive surgery, they have to have all their teeth removed and the bone removed on both sides, the upper
Yes.
and lower jaw?
So there is two kinds of bone. The bone that the roots are housed in, it's called alveolar bone. Alveolus is like an air pocket. We have alveoli in our lungs where the air gets exchanged, oxygenated to deoxygenated air. And so the same name applies to the lighter bone in the jawbone that has the roots. Then underneath that bone is the denser bone. It's called the base bone. That
The
never
jawbone?
houses, yeah, just the more dense bone underneath. And so what is done is that the alveolar bone is removed and then the implants are placed underneath. And I just felt that seeing that bone removed on the tray of them, is just,
Intense. That's, yeah.
so that was what I thought. No, there has to be a better way to do that. And so once I was able to start my own business here, before that, I worked for a big corporation as well. So a lot of things were done very just quickly and fast and according to a specific
Insurance,
criteria.
I'm sure a set of insurance uh
Yeah.
rules and laws that people like. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the big business of the big insurance companies and their role in these reconstructive surgeries.
Um, yes, it's a hard topic. It's a lot of dental service organizations have some control in that. The insurance companies, state insurance company covers the denture, and they don't cover anything beyond that. And so it's that's part of the reason why only 10% of people can do something different than the denture, because it is really not covered. And
Oh,
another reason is that they don't want to have such intensive surgery. That's probably even a bigger
oh my
reason.
goodness. I mean, having an elective surgery where your bone is shaved on your jaw, upper and lower, the body is going to go through a fair amount of shock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's irreversible. You can't get it back. It's
No.
gone.
Right.
Uh,
And then these surgeries are not covered by insurance companies?
Mostly not, unless there is some, if it is an accident and there is an accident insurance, then it can be covered, or some kind of a labor and industry insurance. If it happened at workplace, then the insurance covers. But just if somebody wants to have something different than a denture, it is mostly out-of-pocket expense, and it's very, very expensive. Very
Wow.
expensive, like buying a brand new big car or something like that,
Well, my goodness, and
or
it's
a
your
down
teeth.
payment for a house or
I
something.
mean,
It's
and then of course the dentures are tough because you have to take them in and out and then adhere them, nightly and so forth. And so that's a little bit tougher. So what did you said this is invasive. There's got to be a better way, like you seem to do with your life, and your formula would be using the curiosity and then saying that you decided to do something, that you imagined it already there. I'm reading your formula. I'm learning so much from you. So tell me how you discovered TrueBridge.
So I was able to go digital. I used to be able to do, or I was doing everything. I would wax up the teeth, I would make the denture, I would process it, and then I would get it and I would deliver it. And then in 2017, I was able to get digital, the CAD CAM. It's a computer aided design, computer aided manufacturing. So that instead of doing it by hand, now you can do it digitally. And so you can have, I mean, it's like a big door opens up, and now you can do so much more. You can try different things. You can see what works, how you can tweak it and make it better. And I was able to computer map the bridge that did not include any of the artificial gingiva, or the artificial, the pink part, like that part.
The she's
The,
showing us a denture with the gum looking
yeah. So, and because of that, I was able to uh, mill out a bridge that is only teeth and that has the nice scalloped gum line, and that fits into people's natural gum line, just like it was supposed to. So the teeth are as if they are coming out of the gums like they were originally
and this
coming
is a
out of the gum.
permanent fixture?
Yes, so it is on 4 implants. The implants are in the sockets where the roots used to be, not below where they used to be, but right where they used to be in their socket space. And then the bridge screws onto those implants.
Which I think is
Yeah.
amazing because then the gums start to grow over this natural.
Yes, they take over. I remember when I was in University of Michigan Dental School, and a professor said, a day will come when we can grow teeth right out of the gums. And I'm like, yes, the day has come. Like he was like my father who said, Estonia will be free, you'll see. And I believed it, and now it is. And so it's like you're traveling to the future and you look back and then you go there for real.
And you
So
bring it into being, which is amazing. What is the actual material made out of? So this is basically 3D printing, but there's another word for it that you use. But what is the material?
the final material is zirconia, so it's a
Mhm.
mineral. But we also do a temporary, so there are a lot of little steps and
Steps in
things.
between. Yeah.
So we use,
And how long
uh,
does the whole process take?
so it doesn't take that long because we are utilizing the bone and the gums healing properties. So when you do these dental extractions, very soon after you place the implants and the bone is actively healing, there are two types of cells: osteoblasts that build up the bone and osteoclasts that resorb the bone. And so they are the same cells that work like when orthodontia, when the straightening of the teeth, right? You have to be able to move a tooth through a bone.
Right.
And so these two cells are working, that class that destroy the bone and the blast that build up the bone. So I'm using those same cells to accommodate and help to not have anything resorb away, and to keep everything in place. And it really works. So extraction, very soon after implants, and very soon after you put the bridge, and then it still heals around the bridge and takes it as if they are the real teeth, because they
Oh.
are made as if they are the real teeth.
And I mean, it's mostly a natural process. Is it maybe 3 weeks or is it 2 days or how long does the whole process take?
So at first it is 4 weeks after the tooth extraction. Again, it varies if somebody had a big infection or something needed to heal more, or there was bone grafting necessary, then it may take longer. But if all goes well and no infection, it can be in 4 weeks. And then another 4 weeks was when they can already get the bridge in place. And in the meantime, they do have to wear the temporary denture, but inside it is nicely scalloped because I want to maintain that architecture, that beautiful scalloped line of the gum line. I don't want to flatten it or remove it, or it doesn't go to the waste
Well,
bucket in.
I find this so fascinating because you saw it in your mind and you wanted, as you said, to bring it into reality. But you had to go through a lot of steps to get to this place, patents and so forth. Excuse me. How did you get through all of that? And what enabled you to keep going?
I just knew that those 41 million people, I think they get me going. It is more than, um, it just is such a big problem and it has to be solved. It is like Estonia was under Soviet Union and it wasn't right. It's not right that people don't have a good solution for their dental issue. And I just feel that someone has to do it and I can do it. So I just have to do it. And I know it is hard, but it's the once you've decided and you have the calling, all those hard things are actually okay. They actually are like fuel. They give you more energy. You just take the hard things, take the energy from it, and go even faster or even stronger or like sing even louder, if you will.
What about obstacles along the way? How do you deal with those?
Just like that, just like they when there is an obstacle, there always will be obstacles. It's like given, it's not even an option. And so I don't fight with obstacles. I just, again, I take that energy that they present and I just go forward with what I'm doing. And just like the Russian tanks, those obstacles tend to vanish. They just don't, they're not really real even. If you
Wow.
don't get, you know, uh like if you don't take them as truth, if you don't listen to them, or you don't like fall for them, or you don't get scared of them, you just have to stay true to yourself and move forward and use the obstacles as the extra energy, extra fuel, extra power to power through and forward. So
What
that's what I
about,
do.
now you train other dentists to do this procedure, which I think is fantastic, and people can learn about it at truebridgedental.com, which is you can take classes, you can train, you can find out. How does the ADA feel about all of that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of regulations and things. So I have submitted um, uh, all kinds of, you have to have the CE approved provider. You have, it takes time. So I'm submitting and submitting and submitting all kinds of applications and fees and paperwork and all of that. And so nothing comes overnight, but everything is in the pipeline and everything is working. So I like with my baby, I do all I can do today and I do it all, and then I am happy and I go and rest until the next day.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, but it's also it's a matter of following a calling. And what you're doing is different than just going after a business opportunity. That's not what you thought. You are following a calling to make people's quality of life better.
that's right. Yes, and when you have a calling, it's very, very good. It's just something that is bigger than yourself. And so you, as long as you say that calling and you have it. Like I have it written down, I have it memorized. I say it in the morning, I say it at night. I live it. So it's always with me. I actually have little cards that I write and keep in my purse. And when I'm waiting or doing something, I read them. And I don't even have to read them. I know them by heart, but I just knowing that I have it with me is good. So I'm just very, very committed.
What is your mantra that you have with you? I'd love to know.
Oh, like a quote or something?
You said
Maybe
you have
two.
it with you all the time. Your calling? This is your calling?
Oh, card. It's like a little note card.
Okay.
Those 3 by 5
Yeah.
little colored card. And so I write what my mission is, what I'm doing, and then also I break it down. I have these steps that I can do today and next week and the week after, so I stay on track with all of those goals and things that I need to
Yeah.
do.
It's almost, I mean, it's the same energy as creating an altar or having anything that is a daily practice. And so that's your daily practice is you're constantly reminded of your calling.
Yes, that's right. I
Could
do.
could you tell us what that is in your own words?
Um, just I say that I am committed to True Bridge, and I list my training dates. I list what I have, like I check things off. I
You're disciplined.
every month.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I stay very disciplined, and I when I have that overall structure, I then know when I have a moment, I can do this thing on the list, or I can do that one, or some require more thinking, and others require just a quick time that I could, call those people or do those emails, or so I just stay on the go, and mm, yeah, so I don't want to get distracted with something that is, not important or that would distract me from the mission.
Well, I mean, you have so much that you do already, even including, didn't you say that you have a plot where you grow natural foods in your area? A gardening
Oh
thing?
yeah,
Tell
I
me
do
a little bit
gardening
about
and chickens. Yes, so I
chickens,
have
chickens.
chickens. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we live in this little island, so I have a little mini farm and I have about 100 chickens, I think.
That's a
And a
lot.
turkey. Yes, and so I sell eggs at the farmers market because it is so fun. I don't have to sell the eggs at the farmers market, but I love it because I get to see the people, and there are a lot of regular people who come, and I see tourists all the time. It's, Bainbridge Island is a very touristy place. And so people ask, how do you get all these colors? Because my eggs are rainbow eggs. So they go from dark copper maroon, very, very dark chocolate colored egg to a sky blue egg. And then I got green and mint and then terracotta color egg. And they all have different breeds. So I developed these, I have hens that are just different breeds from different countries. Again, the black copper maroon is French, and the Welsh summer is from Netherlands, and the Sicilian buttercup is from Sicily. And so different breeds. It's so fun to have a collection of beautiful hens that lay different colored eggs. So
Chickens. Oh my God, that's so great. That's really neat. So
children help with that. They love it.
that's got to be a really fun family projects as well. But whatever
Mhm.
you do, it appears that you have the same type of momentum where your curiosity feeds into your determination, you're organized, you decide to do something and you see it into fruition. You make it, you bring it into fruition, you make it true. And you seem in a beautiful way unstoppable, but not from a place of effort. You do it somewhat effortlessly. Is that right? Do you have challenges? Do you feel that
Uh,
things are a struggle at times?
Well, of course, having a team, having a big family helps. Everybody helps. everybody pitches in. So, and also when I do things, it is true that I don't do it in a heavy way, or I don't feel I think that even comes from fairy tales too. There was a classic, it's a Russian fairy tale, Vasilisa the Wise, how Vasilisa had to go. It's kind of like a Cinderella story, but it's a Russian version. So Cinderella goes to the witch, and the witch says, "You have to wash my clothes, make the food, clean the house," like a huge list of things. And then the witch flies off with the broom. And Vasilisa is like, "Oh, how do I get it all done?" And then the little doll in Vasilisa's pocket says, "Don't worry, just go to sleep. I'll get it all done." And Vasilisa says, "Okay." And she goes to sleep. And in the morning, it's all done. The laundry is done, the food is cooked, the house is swept, everything is done. And how is that possible? It is possible when you just let it go, and it still comes. I don't know exactly what happened there that night with the Vasilisa, but the principle is the same. You don't have to carry the log, or just do the heaviest thing. You
Allow the magic to come through.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
there is some of that
And
I use.
I mean, the energy has to be light enough for things to be able to morph and to change. It has
Mhm.
to be changed.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I mean,
Mm.
it is such an interesting environment that we live in that, as I said earlier, the singing revolution, I wish we could see something like that happen today. We do see protests. We do see, sometimes things get out of control. And I love the way that your country peacefully stood up for its independence. Now, times are different, of course, now, but there is still a possibility to return to that peaceful stand for what you believe in. And I believe it takes this kind of recipe of being curious, of deciding that you can really believe enough in the truth to bring it into reality, of um, being present and answering a calling. These are the things that allow you to get really to bring into fruition what it is that you feel is meant to be. And you're helping so many people. Yeah. Yeah. It's gotta feel good. What are some of the people saying that I've looked at some of the testimonials and people on your website? It's like you're giving them confidence again. What does that mean
Mm.
to really have a smile? What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, it is so much more than a smile. It really is the confidence, and allowing people to then tell their story, because like you say, everybody has their story, and it you want to be able to speak nicely and smile and just bring it forth, and help others. So that's what it is all about.
Yes, yes, absolutely. When you have I mean, a smile can light up somebody's life, and also
Mhm.
many people have been in severe accidents and they've lost teeth, and there is, not a lot of options and solutions out there. How long have you been doing this with the True Bridge part?
I started the digitally in 2017. I mean, well, initially I graduated from Estonia Dental School in 1996. So I've been doing dentistry for a very long time. And I've always been curious on that full mouth reconstruction. But it wasn't really until I got all the digital tools, and I had my own office and time to really work that out.
Yeah.
But I knew, again, I knew that it is there. So that gave me the courage to keep at it, because I knew I was gonna get to it and
Yeah.
find it. I did. So
You absolutely did. Well,
10 years.
it's been wonderful. I heard you say to me once, for people to reclaim their true smile and to be happy and to really to be their true self, independent from fear and not feeling embarrassed, is what your calling is, what your goal is for people to be ultimately confident to live in their own truth. So I love that. I love that you have that mission, and it's been such an honor to speak with you and to let your light shine in the world. You're a wonderful example of kind of a broken down formula of how to live as a possible human. And I'm a huge fan of the possible. So thank you, Dr. Helena. I appreciate you. And if people want to learn more, they can go to truebridgedental.com, and it's TRU. But just to learn more about your story, it's all right there. So I really appreciate that. Yes.
Mm. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. And I thank you so much for joining me. I'm Lisa Garr, and until next time, please stay aware.